I know it's not Halloween yet, but can you ever be too prepared? Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is my weekly vlog, vlog number 133 for Monday, September the 16th, 2019. And you may be a little curious about the title that I made for this particular vlog, but don't get upset with me yet. I will explain when we get to that section in today's show. But first of all, I want to show you what I teased you with at the very beginning, and it's right behind me, and this is my Halloween banner. This is going to go on my front door of my house. Actually, I'm going to put it up probably a week before Halloween because I like it. It's colorful. I think it turned out pretty good. And I know it's too long to get all into the shot, but I'll try and hold this up from the bottom. And so there you have it. It's all quilted. It could serve as a table runner as well as a banner. I designed it though so that the embroidery is going vertically instead of horizontally, but that's not a big deal. And it may become a table, a decoration for the month of November. We'll see, because there's some fall colors in it and things like that. All of these, the witch's hat, these words, and the pumpkin cat at the bottom are all embroidered, machine embroidered. And I essentially made this out of mostly just what I had in my stash and scraps. And I have a few scraps left over from this one, and I might do a second one. I do have two double doors on my house at the front, and so one for each door. But anyways, I don't really get into decorating for Halloween or anything like that, but since I had this fabric and I did want to try out these embroidery designs, I thought that maybe I should do something for Halloween. And on that theme, I got kind of hooked onto this, especially the machine embroidering, because you know how much I love doing machine embroidery. I created a couple of other things that'll also go in the door. This little bat, for example, I made a few of these. And my idea is I'll put a magnet on the back, and my doors are metal, so it'll just, you know, tack to the door and spread them out around the banner or banners if I have two. I also did some what's called freestanding lace bats as well, which are kind of cute. And these are actually meant to be drink coasters, but I'm going to use them on the door as well. And I know it's not easy to see it in the video, but this is actually raised. The body of the spider in both of these is slightly raised up, and that's just because of the way the design works. You can stuff it with a little bit of fiber fill or something like that. I think I just used scrap batting. And it didn't take much. So I have a few of those. I don't know if I'll make any more or not. I might. We'll see how that works out. But I love doing in the hoop. These are called in the hoop applique kind of things. And of course, machine embroidery as well. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so that's what I've been up to in the last little while. And let's move right into channel of the week, YouTube channel of the week, and this is Shabby Fabrics. And yes, it does have to do with quilting, but also with novelty items and things like that in the sewing world. And they don't just do quilting on Shabby Fabrics, they make other like cute things like tote bags, home decor, and things like that. So maybe a little something here for everyone. This week's YouTube channel is called Shabby Fabrics, and this is a great site for people who are just getting into sewing and quilt making in particular. They have a lot of very easy to follow tutorials, and they also have a link up to their shop where you can buy many of the materials that they are using. I have never bought anything from this site, but I have looked it over and their prices seem very reasonable and their shipping doesn't seem too bad either. So if you're interested in looking at some creative ideas for seasonal gifts like at Christmas time, or for making very simple quilts or table runners or placemats, then I would suggest you check out Shabby Fabrics. So as always, you will find the link to Shabby Fabrics in my show notes below, as well as a link to my blog. Again, I'm not much of a blogger. I'd rather vlog than blog. It's there if you're interested. I know a few of you have probably gone and checked it out, and I'll be honest, it's not that exciting. And I think most people are visual people anyways these days. And if there's anything that we have to read, we just don't. At least that's me, okay? So I may add a few more things to it as time goes by. Suit yourself. If you're interested, go for it. Stephen and Walter Live. Now, this week's topic was, are we alone in the universe? And we talked about the probability of there being alien life out there and what would happen if we had first contact and if we haven't already had contact with them. You know, the whole political cover-up, government cover-up, conspiracy theories and things like that. So we had an interesting discussion about it, and it did lead into some discussions about the existence of ghosts, afterlife, and a few other things that really we didn't intend to discuss, but it just kind of went that way, and that's fine. I don't mind at all if people make us digress from the topic, because it's just an open discussion. And in fact, and this is just off my top of my head, and I haven't even talked to Walter about it, I am thinking of changing the format of Stephen and Walter Live again, and possibly making it more casual and a lot more about the people who come on every week and watch us. Sort of impromptu type of interviews with people about their lives, what they're doing, things like that. Maybe something a little bit chattier. I might try a small experiment with that idea this coming week. We'll see. So stay tuned if you're a regular viewer of Stephen and Walter Live. And we do have a topic, though, a fairly controversial topic for next week's Stephen and Walter Live. And we're going to look at modern parenting from a childless couple's point of view. Now, that does not mean that if you have children, you can't join in on the discussion. In fact, by all means, I hope you do join into the discussion. And I know it's going to be controversial because Walter and I, not having any children of our own, are going to talk about our observations from our point of view of what people are doing right when they're bringing up their children and what people are doing wrong bringing up their children. And there's a lot wrong with it. Now, of course, I come from a teaching background, so I have dealt with children for many, many, many years, and I have seen all levels of parenting when it came to, you know, how the children behave in class and in other situations as well. I know that this will get people's dander up because they'll go, what do you know? You don't have children. And they're right, we don't have children, but it's unfair to really think that our opinion doesn't matter simply because we've never given birth. So anyways, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be somewhat challenging in our debate as well. And just as always, when we have our discussions, it's a friendly discussion. We're not out to change the world. We're not out to browbeat or cut up people or anything like that. And I hope others will feel the same way with us when they join in. So that's next week on Stephen and Walter Live. Also in the show notes below, you're going to find a link to the iCraft kit, the Toto Folio Album that I did over the last 3 weeks or so. I've now put those all into one video, so I've extracted them from the vlog so that you don't have to sit through the vlog to watch the process of building that Toto album. It's all in its entirety there, and I have it in a special playlist that's called the iCraft Kits playlist. So they're all there, the ones I've been doing since the beginning of the year, for you if you want to check them out. And by the way, you don't need to necessarily own an iCraft kit to create some of these projects. You can probably, with a little bit of thought and imagination, create your own version of these from whatever you've got laying around. And so you might get some ideas from these. So don't feel that this is just exclusively about an iCraft kit, and since you don't have one, why bother watching it? I like to watch a lot of videos about people putting together kits, and although I may not own the materials that they're using, I glean ideas from this kind of thing. So, you know, it's good for that as well. So the link to the latest one of the iCraft kits is in the show notes, and also is this week's book that we'll come to in a moment. So here's what's pissing me off. Now, I'm going to start with a little preface to this, okay? I named this particular vlog Why I Hate Women. Okay, I am going a little bit for the shock effect on this, okay? I'll be honest. I'm trying to increase my viewership. I don't have a Patreon, and I probably never will. I'm small potatoes. I really am small potatoes, and I appreciate those who come in and every week and watch at least part of my videos or whatever and make comments or things like that. I don't do this for financial gain. It's a hobby. It's a hobby, and it's a habit, actually. Making YouTube videos has become a bit of a habit for me. I just enjoy it. Yeah, sure. I would love to have, a subscribership that's in the tens of thousands. I mean, currently I think I've got about 2,700, moving towards 2,800. That's over a period of 5 years, 6 years. So yeah, I'm small potatoes. I know I'm doing something in these videos that's a niche, in other words, very specialized audience, and that's fine too. I'm not trying to become, as if I could, the next YouTube sensation. That's never going to happen. But I have watched a few YouTube videos where they suggest that, ways to title your videos, things you should put in your tags and things like that attract an audience. And I'll have to be honest, I'm not very good at self-promotion. Okay? So I am trying this. But also I don't want to put in something that is false, free sex, kind of a thing, or hey, see me naked. Oh God, that would probably turn people off. But you know what I mean? I guess they call that clickbait. And I don't want to be dishonest about that. But I am trying to put in something that's maybe will grab some people who don't know, who are not regulars to my vlog, might pull them in, and maybe they'll find something here that'll be interesting. So how I got on all of that, I'm not sure. But let's get back to what's pissing me off and why I hate women. Now, first of all, I do not hate women. Okay? I don't. I was a high school teacher, as you know, for many, many years. I worked with a lot of women because the majority of teachers of English, and that's what I taught, tend to be women. In fact, the majority of teachers, period, tend to be women. So I worked with women. I was a department head, so I was the leader of a lot of women. And I worked for women myself as well, who were vice principals to me. Many of the women that I worked with I have high regards for and a lot of respect because they're very intelligent, creative individuals, and I enjoyed my time with them. Sometimes people think that gay men automatically hate women. Actually, we don't. In fact, in some ways, and for a lot of gay men, some of their best friends are actually women. You might also say, and this would be a stereotype, that the reason that gay men hang around with a lot of women is because they want to be women themselves. No, we don't. Now, let's not say all gay men don't want to be women, but then those are called, the people, transgendered people, okay? And that's a whole different area, and I'm not even going to get into it at all. But no, it's not because I'm gay that I hate women. It's not because I'm gay that I hang around women. Look at the quilting world. Mostly women. And again, a lot of very creative and talented people in that. So I have respect for women, and I do not hate them in that way. What I should have titled this episode about is reasons why I could hate women. Okay? And that's what I want to get into today. Now, I am not woman bashing. Okay? I want to set that right out there because I know some of the things I'm about to say are going to get many of you, and quite frankly, most of my viewers are women, are going to get upset with me. So this may be dangerous. This may cut my subscribers in half. I don't know. But I went to when Margaret Atwood, foremost Canadian author right now, she is the woman who wrote the original book, The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm sure many of you have seen the TV series, if not having read the book, had 3 seasons so far, based on her first book. Well, she's just come out with basically a sequel to the book. And she had a launch of the book from London, England, last Tuesday night. And it was live, and it was beamed by satellite to cinemas in Canada. And I bought a ticket and went to my local movie theater to watch this live production. And it was very, very good and very, very interesting. And I do like Margaret Atwood's books. But the one thing in the interviews, as they were interviewing Margaret Atwood, that came out, and this is nothing new to anybody who knows Margaret Atwood, she basically male bashes. Handmaid's Tale does not reflect most of the male characters in the book in a very positive light. The problems that they have in the society she has created in the book are all blamed on men. And when Margaret Atwood was being interviewed, it was very apparent that she blames everything from global warming to political situations in the world on men. Now, yes, men are at fault. Okay, I will concede that point. And yes, it is not really women who have caused problems with the environment, problems with the world stage, things like that. No, it's been men. Why is that? Well, easy, and most women realize this because men have been in control for thousands and thousands of years. Okay, I get that. All right, but here's what I don't get. Okay, now I'm speaking from a male perspective, and I hope that you ladies out there are going to listen to me and respect my perspective. Women don't stand up for themselves. Now, the first thing you're going to say is, when they do, they get shot down by the establishment, which is made up of white men. Okay? Yeah, like the whole to me situation. You don't hear much about that right now, do you? You know, that was all the thing. It went viral last year. And what's his name, Weinstein or whatever, put up for sexual assault and all kinds of things like that. And I'm not saying he didn't do it. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve to be punished for it. He does. Okay? You don't treat women like that. There is no need to. There is no reason to. Nothing can justify being sexually assaulting, raping, beating women. Okay? Nothing justifies that at all. So he deserved what he got. But all these celebrities in Hollywood banded together, women, to fight this. Well, good for them. They're standing up for what they believed in. And they said, we've had enough. We're not going to take any more. What's happened to that movement? As quickly as it arose, it just as quickly died. Now, one theory might be, okay, these are celebrities and they're not getting jobs because the job world in Hollywood is controlled by men. And men probably said, "Ooh, hold back. I don't want to deal with you right now because I might be accused of something, of doing something sexist or whatever. And therefore, I'm not putting myself into that situation." I think that has traveled through into the business world. I mean, men that are in positions of power in the business world, when they interview women candidates for positions within their company, I think they have to be very, very careful now what they say. And if they turn around and hire a man over a woman, first thing a woman's probably going to say is the reason he got the job was because he was a man. And yes, that has happened. Okay. So, once burned, twice whatever, that kind of a thing. I get that. I really do. But I want women to know something. That's only a few men in society. Many, many men in society are not like that. Many, many men are like me. Not necessarily gay, but, me. Like, have worked with intelligent, creative women who respect women. I used to have to interview women for teaching jobs. There may be some men for the job and there was a woman. I did not lean towards one sex or the other sex. It all had to do with who I thought was a good teacher and would fit into the culture of the particular school they were being hired for. Okay, it had nothing to do with their sex. And in fact, many times the best candidates were women. Okay, especially in something like teaching where you're working with children, because women have a quality that a lot of men, quite honestly, we don't have to the same degree, and that is a compassion quality, a nurturing quality. I'm not being sexist. I'm not being stereotyped. That is hardwired into us as a species. And that doesn't mean that men can't be nurturing and that kind of thing, but I think women, in many ways, for whatever reason, do it better. Okay? So that's a good quality to have, I think. But women don't see it that way. Women want it they want to be treated equal to men. Okay, then start acting like men. Oh, wait. There's a problem. If a woman who's intelligent and creative and moves her way up in the business world anyways, or in the corporate world, and becomes a boss, as soon as she does something that's not popular amongst the males call her a bitch. I've heard that many times. Okay? Yes, that happens. But how many times have women turned around and said, well, he's a bastard? Okay? My world revolves around, a good part of my world revolves around women. Okay, example, I go to sewing classes. It's me and a whole bunch of ladies. And the ladies tend to forget that I'm a male in the room. Now, maybe that's because they know I'm gay, and maybe they just consider me one of the girls. I don't know. That I find insulting. I am not one of the girls. I'm one of the people taking the class, and I like to be your friend, but I'm not one of the girls. Okay? But they'll talk about their husbands all the time. And they'll complain. Oh, yeah, well, he was so stupid. He went out there, but I just told him to do this and that and the other thing. And they talk about how they control their husbands. Or they talk about the stupid things their husbands do. Or they complain about the things their husbands have done to them. Now, most of those are pretty minor. And I mean, you're in a relationship, okay? Relationships are hard. You have to work at them. There's always going to be something the other person does that gets your goat every now and then, and you work it out, right? But I hear them bash men. And I'm sitting there, hello, I am here. You are saying that? If I opened my mouth and started bashing women, they'd let me have it, right between the eyes. So what makes it... I'm trying to see where the fairness is in here, okay? Let's talk about some other simple things. When I happen to pass between two people who might be having a discussion because I can't go around them, I excuse myself. If those are two women or two men or a man and a woman, I will do it. I will excuse myself. If I come to a door, going into, say, a shopping center, and there's a lady right behind me, I will hold the door open for the lady. Why? Well, I was always taught that that was the polite thing to do, but I would do it for a man as well. Now, in this day and age, a lot of people don't bother doing that for either sex. I know that. But I get looks sometimes. If I don't hold the door open, I get a nasty look from the woman. A man doesn't pay any attention. If I'm in an elevator, and I'm the last one to get in the elevator, and there's a woman or two in the elevator, when the doors open up, etiquette, old etiquette, because it is old etiquette, says that men should step aside and allow the ladies to exit first. I come from that school of thought. So it is my natural reflex to just stand back and let the ladies go through. However, lately I've decided, wait, this is completely impractical. I'm closest to the door. The elevator's not that big. I'm blocking other people. It's a natural thing. I should go out first. Whoever's closest to the door should go out first, right? But I have had ladies, as soon as the door opens, they're at the back of the elevator, who push through me to go through the door. And if I don't push back, but I mean, if I just continue walking, like I'm going through it, I get the nastiest look, like, excuse me, you're a man, I'm a woman, I'm supposed to go through the elevator door first. No, you're not. You're a person. Logic dictates the ones closest to the door leave first. It just makes it more orderly, right? So why do they give me this look? When a woman cuts in front of me, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, or the other day I'm standing in the lineup at a checkout. The lineup is, average length kind of a thing. A lady with a cart pushes her way right through me. Did not say, excuse me, do you mind if I get through, or anything like that? And I didn't even see her coming until I see, whoa, run me over with that cart, will you? And didn't turn and say, oh, I'm sorry, or anything like that. That's rude. Now you're going to say, yeah, lots of people are rude. It's not just a woman thing. You're right, it's not just a woman thing. But why is it that women, when it comes to men, will do that and not think twice? Why is it that all the problems of the world, like Atwood was saying, are blamed on men? Women inhabit this planet as well. They contribute to global warming as much as men do. There are women in politics. They contribute to political turmoil and conflict just as much as men do. We have had women leaders, women CEOs out there that have been both effective and ineffective, just like men. So what gives women the right to bash men? Now here's the answer to that. Because for centuries and centuries, since the dawn of time, women have always been seen as second-class citizens and made subservient. Okay, yes, but this is the 21st century. And yes, that still exists in the world amongst certain cultures where women are only seen as the rearers of children and things like that. But in North America anyways, and probably most of Europe and the civilized world, men who are doing that kind of thing are assholes. They really are. Women, if they want to get ahead in the world, have got to do what men do. You get the education. You get yourself out there. You are master of your own destiny. For all people, regardless of their sex, they are all masters of their own destiny. I used to say that to my students. You are master of your own destiny. Do not blame your failures, your shortcomings on anybody but yourself. Take responsibility, take accountability, learn from your mistakes, and move ahead. If you've got a goal, then go for that goal and don't let anything stop you or anyone stop you from achieving that goal if that's important to you, and given the fact that you're doing it legally. Okay? Women can do that as well. They talk about empowering women all the time. Women already have the power. Women have a lot of power. Yes, it might be slightly different than the way men have power. But intelligent women know how to use their intellect, to use their education, to use the talents that they were born with to get what they want. And when I say get what they want, I don't mean that in a negative way or self-serving way. I mean out there doing something good for society. And there are all kinds of women out there that head up charitable organizations, all kinds of things that, benefit all of humanity as well. So they should never sell themselves short. But what they should never, ever, ever do is blame everything on men. That's what Atwood does. And Atwood is a voice of power. And I know that she has an influence on women because when I was sitting in the movie theater watching her interview, there was only 3 men in there. The rest were all women. Okay? So there you go. But no, and when a woman starts to bash a man in front of me, I don't take it sitting down. I turn around and go, excuse me, just a minute, hello, male, here, what makes you say that? And you know what happens? As soon as I question them, they back down. They shouldn't back down. If they have a legitimate beef, they should turn around and state their reasons. But they don't. So who hates women more? Is it men, or do women hate themselves? And if women hate themselves, then take accountability, take responsibility, stop hating yourself, rechannel that energy into getting something that you want. And don't blame your failures, and don't blame and don't make excuses for why you can't get what you want, and don't blame it on men. As simple as that. There are assholes in the world of both sexes. What do you do with an asshole? You ignore the asshole, you gravitate towards those that have an equal intellect, that are as creative as you are, and that you can respect. Leave the ones behind that you have no respect for. Don't waste your energy on them trying to change them, because that's never going to happen. Just move ahead with your agenda to the best of your ability. Okay, so endeth the sermon today. Okay, bring it on. I know I'm going to get lots of comments down there in the whole bit, but just remember, I do not hate intelligent, creative women. Enough said. Okay, moving on. New products. Well, we were away this weekend, well, just overnight in a place called Kingston. Kingston's 2 hours and a bit east of us. Went to visit some really good childhood friends of mine. And of course, they had a couple of quilting stores there, so we had to go in and we had to check out what there was to buy, and so I did. I'm not going to take these all out and bore you to death. I will do an idiot quilter version of this probably. But here's a bunch of the fabrics that I bought. And yes, I bought a few other things that I don't have in here as well. Yes, I spent a boatload of money. I bought a couple of fat quarters of Halloween stuff. I think this is what I was saying before. I might make another one of these banners. It'll look different. But I got some of this to go with that. And it was a really nice weekend. But that's all I've bought new right now. I do have some things on order from Missouri Star Quilt Company in the States, and it's taken forever to get here. Here's something that's stupid. They ship their stuff by FedEx. Fine. They're in Missouri. Last I looked, FedEx was sitting on my order in Newark. Is Newark, New Jersey? Yeah, it's been sitting there for weeks. Just sitting there. Walter also ordered stuff about a week before I did. His stuff finally moved from Newark to Chicago. How long does this take? So I tell you right now, I love Missouri Star Quilt Company, but if you're Canadian, or if you're from outside of the United States for that matter, it's not just Canadian, and you're ordering from them, be prepared. This is going to take forever to get it. In fact, I'm giving them one more week. If it doesn't come this week, I'm going to write to Missouri Star Quilt, and I'm going to state exactly what my problem is with them and their shipping methods. Yeah, they won't pay much attention to that because I'm small potatoes. I'm sure that in the States, they ship everywhere in the States, and, there's a lot more Americans than there are Canadians, and why do they care about me? But it just makes me feel better. It's about empowerment. It's about doing something about things. Go back to what I just said about women. Okay? So let's see. What else? What's next? All right. Book of the week. Another one from Memory Makers. I've had a lot of those lately, but they are good books. Too bad the company no longer exists. This one, we're going to my roots again, scrapbooking. And this is scrapbook journaling, made simple. Now, I hate journaling. In my scrapbooks, when I first got started, you will find journaling. But I really hate writing. Somewhat ironic, being an English teacher, right? But I do. And I still do. So I don't journal a lot. Now, art journaling, for example, was built on the basis of people capturing their personal thoughts about certain things in a creative format. Again, I got into art journaling. I don't journal, okay? But many people do, and a lot of people have the problems that I have. What do you want to write about, or how are you going to write about it? So this book is really great for those of you that are scrapbookers or art journaling people, or even those who, some people like to keep just a diary style journal and maybe don't know how to get started in that. This book will help you with that. And it shows you some creative ways for collecting your thoughts and putting them down in a manner that if you want other people to read it, it might attract their attention. This is very, very helpful. It gives you prompts and things like that to get you started. So this book, when I bought it, retailed at $29.99 Canadian, $19.99 US. So I went looking for it online because, again, this is a book I've had for many years. And I did find it on Amazon, but it's not cheap. I found it on Amazon.ca for $32.83. I think there was free shipping involved in that, but it's actually more than I paid for it at that time. Now, you might be able to do a more extensive search on the internet. I'll admit I did not. I usually just go to Amazon and that's about it. And you might find it cheaper. You might find it as a used book. But anyways, if you're interested, I have the link for that in the show notes below. And it is a very good book. Okay, so that takes us to the next installment, our next album. I'm moving into a new series in the iCraft kits, and the one we're doing this week, starting this week, is the Cascading Mini Album. This is a very simple kit, and I had a lot of problems with it, as you're going to see in this particular segment for this week. So I'm going to put together this iCraft kit, another one in my series, and this one's called the Cascading Mini Album. Now it says on the front of the box that it's ready to use scrapbook template. This set contains one set of 5 pieces each of black and craft cardstock. This scrapbook can accommodate 15 photographs. The final size of the scrapbook would be 4.5 by 4.5 inches. So it's not very big. It's only 4.5 by 4.5 inches, but there are 2 of them in this kit. And as I've said before, these kits are really great value because I think this kit was about $10.99 and you're getting 2 albums in it. Now let's flip to the back. Usually on the back, and this one is no exception, they have the measurements for each of the pieces. And by the looks of things, there are only 4 pieces. Although, how many did it say on here? Says this set contains one set of 5 pieces. Okay, I count 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back, but we'll see what's actually in the box when we open it. It also has a picture of what the final album might look like, and it says there are DIY instructions included. And you know from past videos, if you've seen them, when I do the iCraft kits, that basically the information on the back of the box, especially the measurements, and the instructions inside the box are not always that clear. So we're going to try to figure this one out, and I'm glad that there are 2 of them in this kit because one of them I will use as a practice and the other one I'll use for the good copy. So let's just take a look at what's in the box. So here's our kits, and there's supposed to be 2, one in black and one in cardstock, and indeed it does look like there are. So let's take these out of the package. And what I like to do before I begin is they usually start with a picture of all the pieces. It says this kit contains 9 parts of craft and black paper each. Okay, is there 5? Are there 4? Or are there 9 pieces? So let's set the black one aside and let's work with the craft one. And let's take these pieces out. Now, of course, they all come pre-scored, so we will have to fold those, but I'm just going to organize the pieces out here on my work table to see what it is that we have. Okay, so do we have 5 pieces like it said on the cover? Do we have 4 pieces like it said that it shows on the back? Or do we have 9 pieces? Well, there are not 9 pieces in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5. So let's match them up with what's on the diagram. And I'm going to take a pen or a marker, if I find one here, and I'm just going to mark what they have here marked as well. So, well, this is interesting. These instructions do not look anything like what's in the package. Can you see here? There's 2 pieces that are called the belt. And that looks like that might be these pieces right here. So this one of these is belt, and it's got 5 in a bracket. And this one says belt 5. Okay. But then they say we have a left flap and a right flap and a base. I think this might be the base. I'm not really sure. I'm going to flip the instructions over. These instructions are not the right instructions. Shows how to put the belt together. Shows us folding in half this way. But this, I really don't know. These instructions do not look like anything like this finished product at all. Okay, this is the problem with this company, okay? I like their kits, but do not depend upon instructions for putting this together being the correct ones. This is obviously not the right instruction sheet. This makes something slightly different. I think they've either got the wrong instructions in the wrong box or whatever. The instructions are never very clear anyway, so we're on our own for this one. So we're going to use the diagram, not the diagram, the picture on the front and the back of the box, and see if we can figure out how this goes together. Now there's not that many pieces, so it shouldn't be all that difficult. So let's determine what this is. It is called a cascading mini album. So they said it was 4 by 5. So I'm assuming this piece with the score lines is probably the outside cover. So let's just fold this along the score lines to get some sense of what the shape might be. It's always a mystery, these kits, I find. And that's one reason why I'm making these videos for you, so I can take the mystery out of it. Okay, so it looks to me, and let's go back to the first page, they show a little flap coming down on the top over this. So I would say that this is how it goes together. And they do show sort of a belt piece, and that's what these must be that go around it. And these have score lines. Oops, folded that score line crooked. Let's just straighten that up. You do have to be careful. I also find these kits with their score lines, that the score lines are not that deep. Okay, so I would say that one of these has to be attached, possibly like that. And since it's a belt, I would assume you would attach these two pieces together and it will slide over the top. Yeah, and that probably goes on the inside. Okay, pretty much got that figured out. So then these must be the inside pages. Now, this has score lines like this. I'm assuming you would accordion fold it. However, this one has an extra score line, and that's along here. So that's a tab that must attach to something. Now, would it attach to this piece and make this piece really long? Let's take a look at the back. Well, this does not give me any indication either as to how this goes together. Let's go back to the instruction sheet and let's see if there's anything that resembles that. Okay, they show folding the outside cover, but this does not look like this. They talk about attaching flaps left and right. See, this showing the flaps are coming in and out inside, and that's not how this works. So, you have to be able to attach. Alright, let's assume if we attach this piece to this piece and get this really long piece right here. Okay, if this is this really long piece, then how do you attach it to the insides? Put the belt to the side. they show it on its side. I would think because it opens up. Really not sure. Really not sure at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto YouTube and see if they've actually have one on YouTube that they've been putting together. I don't think they do, but I'm going to check it out. I'll be back and let you know. Okay, no luck on YouTube. They do not have a video showing how to put this one together. Okay, so we're going to do it our own way. So here we have these two inner pages, and I'm assuming these two inner pages probably are joined together because of this flap, and all fold up like an accordion. So that's the way I'm going to put them together. So to stick these two down, I'm going to use some 1/2" score tape, double-sided tape. This isn't actually score tape, that's a brand name. This is express tape, but same difference. Whatever you have. Now, where did I put my bone folder? Under here. Let's varnish this down well. And let's get out my pokey tool so I can take off the backing. Okay, why am I having problems? This is just a day for problems with this project, isn't it? Okay, so we need to put this piece on here. I'm just going to line it up with the score line and make sure my edges are even. Give it a good press. And now let's fold this up accordion fold style. Okay, so how do we attach it in here? Well, I would say the simplest way is to determine how you want it to open. So I suppose if you're opening this up like this and it's cascading, I'd say your pages go down this way. So this page, we're going to adhere down to the inside of that. So again, you could use wet glue for this. In fact, I would almost recommend you use a wet glue if you're making your album from their craft cardstock, because I do find that sometimes the tape does not hold very well to the craft cardstock. I don't know why that is. I think I mentioned in one of my other videos that I think it might be the texture of the craft cardstock, because it's got kind of a light fuzzy texture. And you know, I think for good luck, since this is going to be a page that's going to have some pressure on it, I'm going to put more tape. Let's make sure we get it well secured, given what I just said. Okay, varnish it well. And let's just fold those up. Just make sure that when I open it, it's going to go this way. Okay, so you need to take off the tape backing, the protective tape backing. I'm having a real problem today with this. Usually I can get these flipped right off in no time. You know, it always figures when you make a video, this is when you have all the problems. Well, this isn't a major problem, it's just a little fiddly. Okay, we've got that ready to go. So it's going to open out like this, so take this, and I guess we're just going to, now we could put it down on this side, could we? We could, but I don't think I will, because it looks like it might be too long. Okay, let me bend that back so I can see these things a little better. I want to center it right in this back piece best I can. I'm just eyeballing it. So let's, oh yeah, okay, I did it wrong. Well, yeah, I did it wrong. I did it wrong. This is dumb. Okay, I'm going to try and pull this off because I want it to open out from, oh wait, I didn't do it wrong. If I want to open this way. No, I'm good. Well, I'm good for the... Yeah, okay, I'm good. But then you'd flip it this way. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Either way is going to work. Okay. I'm going to take the bone folder. These are a little on the crooked side. All right, so this piece goes up here. This piece would go down here. So we need to put the little belly band together, or the belt as they call it. So let's put, these have tabs. I think I'd put the tabs on the inside. See the tabs here? I think I'd put them like that. So let's put some 1/4 inch. No, they look wide enough for 1/2 inch, so we'll use 1/2 inch. Actually, I think wet glue might be better on this. And I'll keep that in mind when I do the black one. This one's what I consider my prototype. So I figure out how to assemble it. I am having the devil of a time with this 2-sided tape. I don't know why. It doesn't usually give me that kind of problem. Yeah, that did not. I'm going to use wet glue. I'm going to use the Gorilla Glue. Actually, lay it flat. That might be easier to start with. Okay, let's just hold that down for a few seconds. And while it's drying, I'll talk to you. So, these kits, when you get them done, are worth the effort. The price is really good on them. As I said, $10.99, I get 2 of these mini cascading albums. Instructions suck. Very few YouTube videos for most of their products. And the quality of the craft cardstock is not very good. The black is pretty good, and the white, on the ones that do come with white, is pretty good. So you're balancing here the price and the frustration level. And this is why I'm making these videos. So you won't go through the hell that I've been going through. So let's see, I'm going to put this one on here. So more of the Gorilla Glue. You could use hot glue too. I like the Gorilla Glue. It holds everything. However, you get it on your fingers and that's a problem. Okay, I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds. That should be good. Also, I find that the craft cardstock absorbs your glue very fast. So you can see here it's leaked out over the edge a little bit. So square this up a bit. So this would just slide over top of here, just like that. And that's your enclosure. Now, when you get more pages, when you get the pages decorated and things like that, this is going to puff out a little bit more, and I think there'll be less slack in the band. So that will hold it a little better. But that's all there is to it now that we have figured out. As I said, I'm not sure if I have put it together the way that the company may have intended it to be put together, but this works for me. So now that I've done this, I can go ahead and cut my background papers and assemble the black one, and I will do that in the next segment. What I've been doing, if you've been following my series along, is I've been cutting out my background papers first of all, and then adhering them to all the pieces before I do the actual assembly. This one, because of the way it's designed, you could do it that way, or you could just simply put it together and then add your background pages without having to worry about that. And in fact, I may do that instead on this particular one. It doesn't really matter. Mind you, I do like to go around the edges with my ink, although I'll be doing this on the black one, so I don't think I'll need to go around the edges with ink just to for it to stand out. I could do that though on this one. So maybe I will, in the case of this one, make two of these, one in the craft and one in the black. So that's in the next segment. Okay, so next week we'll look at putting the background papers on the album pages. Okay, so update on my mother. She's fine, but she's having a little problem with her bras, and I explained this on Stephen and Walter Live, and I think I mentioned it last week. Well, an update on the Bragate. I did contact the administration at the nursing home and said, hey, my mother's losing bras here, or you're losing my mother's bras. They're expensive, $42 a pop. What can you do about that? So they went immediately into search and seek mode, and they found one of her bras. And she, the administrator, had the PSWs looking around, figuring that the bras got put in other people's pile of clothing, basically, which makes sense. I didn't hear any more about that. So when I go over to visit my mother tomorrow, guess what? We're doing another inventory about her bras. And if I'm not finding any more bras there, then I'm going to write again. And this time I'm going to, unfortunately, raise it a level. I was nice in my first discussion, like, you know, these things happen, blah, blah, blah. But now it is an economic thing. Okay, quite frankly, it's an economic thing. My sister goes out, buys her new bras, and my mother gets to wear them once and they never come back from the laundry. And at $42 a pop, that's a little bit much. Can we get cheaper bras? Yes. But if these are the ones my mother likes, they're a particular style, and I know bras are something for women that are a very personal piece of apparel, and I know that they are made in different ways, and every lady has her preference for this kind of thing. It's like buying shoes, you know, the fit of them and the things like that. So yeah, if my mother wants the $42 bras, she's entitled to have $42 bras. We shouldn't drop down, buy her a cheap bra like it's disposable. So that's probably how I'll be stating my case as well, and we'll see where it goes from there. I don't know. The things I have to do for my mother. I never thought that I would be involved in a bra scandal. Oh well. And what else? Oh, I mentioned my childhood friends that we went to visit in Kingston, and it's good to see them, always is. We don't get together often, but it was nice to see them. We had a great afternoon at their place and caught up on all kinds of things. And one of my friends, Pam, she is a writer, and this was her first book. Now, I have already read this, but she presented me with this copy of it because she self-published it on Amazon, and I had downloaded the electronic version for my e-reader. She's very Canadian as a writer, if you were to get this book, and it's available, I believe, on Amazon. It's called Escape from Shambles County. It's written by Pamela Haley. It's amusing because it's meant to be amusing. It's a mystery, and it takes place in Eastern Canada. So it's very Canadian, and there are expressions in this book that are very Eastern Canada as well. So it's got a bit of the cultural kind of aspect to it as well. It's a fun read. It's a fairly quick read. And it's just, you know, one of those kind of books that sometimes you need a little relief from the more serious issues you might be dealing with in your life, or, you know, maybe you've been reading some really heavy literature lately, or the news, or whatever. This is just a good read. One of those kind of books you want to curl up with on your sofa with a warm cup of coffee, hot chocolate, whatever, and enjoy. So I highly recommend it, Escape from Shambles County by Pamela Haley. So check it out on Amazon. So yeah, we had a really nice visit on the weekend with all of them. We did stay overnight, and if you saw the little teaser to Stephen and Walter Live yesterday, I mentioned that because I was in our hotel room and did it from that. I also went to the Atwood interview. I've already talked enough about that. But that was very, very interesting. And just as an aside, I believe they're making and are about to release a documentary about Atwood, which I want to see. Atwood was not my favorite Canadian author. I studied Atwood in university, and I really didn't like her earlier books for a variety of reasons, but one that I've already talked about, she man bashes in most of her books. But once she wrote Handmaid's Tale and everything that she wrote after that, I've really been interested in. Now, her writing style is very good. Her books are very entertaining, but her books are very thoughtful. They definitely make you think, and they make you uncomfortable as well because of the topics she deals with. They have an element of science fiction to them, but not like Beam Me Up Scotty kind of thing. More about, the near future and where our world is headed. And many times, great writers in the world have been very prophetic in what they have written, like Huxley with Brave New World, George Orwell with 1984, even Jules Verne, things like that. And Atwood is in that league in terms of being a prophetic writer as well. But she's one of our best, if not our best, Canadian writer. So I strongly recommend, if you've never read anything by Atwood, start with Handmaid's Tale, okay? And then you can work your way backwards or forwards from that. Okay, so what's coming up? Not a heck of a lot. I've got later this morning, I'm off to my second sewing class, the one where I'm doing the curves, which I'm proud to say I think I have mastered how to do that, which is good. That's why I took the course in the first place. Walter has a couple of sewing courses this week too. This weekend there is a men's event. No girls allowed. Okay, I know someone's going to nail me about that one too. But it's a gay thing. Okay, it's a man's night at our local club, gay club. And I don't know if we're going to go to it or not. It's kind of silly, really. They're going to have a couple of contests. They've got a couple of guys coming from Toronto as bartenders. And when I say they got a couple of guys coming, they're bringing eye candy, okay, basically. And yeah, really. But I don't know. It might be a night out, social, and we haven't been to the club in a long, long time. So maybe we'll go, maybe we won't. I have no idea. I'll let you know, okay? And that's about it. Nothing else to tell you about. Anything else to show you? I'm just looking at my desk. Nope, that's it. So, hope to see you for our discussion about... I have this a lot lately, these senior moments. They're driving me nuts. I think it's because my brain works too far ahead and then I forget, well, who knows what it is. But this week's topic is parenting, okay? From our point of view as people without children. So I hope you'll join in. That can be a very lively discussion, I think. And yeah, so we'll see you then. And if we don't see you then, hopefully we'll see you for next week's vlog. Have a great week. Bye-bye for now.